Hi, I'm Chinagona here today with comedian Aastha Lal. Hi, Aastha.
Hey, how's it going?
It is so good, and it's so good to see you. Our origin story. I met Aastha a few years ago at a comedy festival, my first comedy festival, actually at Dow Comedy, which is a great comedy club. If listeners haven't been, and I don't know if you can hear. Oh my gosh, there is a echo in my ear right now.
I can
Okay,
hear you.
there we go. So anyway, so Dow Comedy, great comedy club, love it. And your claim to fame is that you were a contestant on I keep wanting to say The Biggest Loser, but it's not. It was
No,
not Survivor. The
I was
Amazing Race.
I was the biggest loser on The Amazing Race. Yeah.
That's a good way to think of it. Okay. So you were voted off first,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. What's great is that I wasn't voted off because it's not like a
Oh,
Survivor type game. I
okay.
eliminated myself because I was slow AF. Like when you're slow, you don't have the dignity to move forward, and they're like, no, you can't compete with the rest of the people because you're slow.
Oh
So
my.
I was eliminated because I was slow.
So they eliminated you or you self-eliminated?
No, they eliminated me because we came in last place.
Oh my
On the
gosh.
first episode. Just want to say on the first episode. Okay. Just want to make that
But
very clear.
but it's a better story than if you got eliminated second. So
I agree with you because nobody cares about the second person eliminated. They only care about like the winners that won that season and then the idiots who got eliminated first. You know what I mean? When for a stand-up comedian, I couldn't think of a better story actually.
right, exactly. Good story. So you have been doing stand-up comedy for a while now.
Yeah, 15 years. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
I
How
know.
did you get into stand-up? Like what drives you to get up on stage in front of people?
Ooh, existential dread. That I think is the because I was in college and I was in my final year, and I was going through this crisis of like, what are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to like just like get a job and pay bills until we die, and that is life? And so I was literally going through this crisis in my head of like, there's got to be more to life, and so
Right.
I literally saw an ad in the paper. That's how this tells you how old I am. I was literally like an ad in the paper. If anybody under 30 is listening, a paper is like when you
Right.
open it out and you get current events. Okay. Anyways, so so I literally saw an ad in the paper for a Second City, like a stand-up comedy class
Mhm.
at Second City in Toronto, which is where
Okay.
I grew up. And so I turned to my best friend at the time. Her name was Irene. And I was like, Irene, like, should I take this stand-up comedy class? It's 3 months. And at the end of the 3 months, you perform in front of a live audience. And I might have been like 21 years old at the time. And my best friend was like, I don't understand why you're not doing this already. Like, go do it.
Like you just seemed like a natural.
Yeah, she's like, "Why haven't you been doing this?" And so I was like, "Okay." So I signed up for this 3 month program, and it was just me and 9 straight white men in the class, like cisgendered straight white men, and then this tiny little Indian girl. And so we went through the 3 months together, and at the end of it, the graduation was like you had to perform in front of like 250 people, which is insane. It was the first time I was like a tiny 21-year-old performing in front of a whole bunch of people, and I've never been so nervous in my entire life.
Yeah.
I remember getting like they announced me last, so every single white man went, and then they're like, "Welcome to the stage, our final comedian, Hasta la." And then I remember that feeling of like dread, where I was
It's
just
because you're the best. That's why they put you last, the headliner
like,
spot.
or they couldn't pronounce my name, so they're like, "We'll just put her last." We're like, or that, but I remember that feeling of like absolute, like I've never been so nervous and scared in my entire life. Like I went up there, like my palms were like just buckets of water, like just so sweaty. And I
Mhm.
went up there and I grabbed the microphone and I told my first joke. And then I heard my first bit of laughter. And then it was like, holy crap, I need to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like it was an aha moment that happened as soon as I heard my first little bit of laughter, and that was it. I was like addicted to that sound.
So, are there any jokes from that set that you still perform today?
Not if I want to get canceled, you know. So you know,
Interesting. What were those?
what's so crazy is that I did a semester in Hong Kong before I started stand-up comedy. And so I did a lot of the Chinese accent because like it was because I was interacting and like I would have to I lived in a part of Hong Kong where that I needed to speak with a little bit of an accent so that people can understand me a little bit better because no one spoke English. So I
Mm,
spoke a little bit of Cantonese but with a Cantonese accent. And
mm.
so I would come back and I would write my jokes in like a Cantonese accent. And, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, totally okay. I
Yeah.
can't do that now. I
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
canceled so fast. So,
That's so
no.
funny that you mentioned that because I was out last week and this guy, when he found out that I was a stand-up comedian, he asked me if I had seen Angela Johnson's
Mhm.
nail salon
Yeah.
bit. And he's Asian, this guy who was talking to me. And he's like, "Can you do it? Can you do it?" I was like, "It's so funny that this Asian man wants me to do this, bit that a lot of people consider very
Yeah.
stereotypical,
Mhm.
right?"
And Angela Johnson, she got away with it because of the timing of it,
Yeah,
right?
because it
I
was
think if
like
she
20
did it
years ago.
now, people would be like, "I don't think you could do that, Angela." You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there were definitely people who wanted to cancel her, but
Yeah.
the funny thing there canceling wasn't a term yet, but there were people who wanted to, but
Mhm.
actually there were a lot of I saw a lot of Asian commentary where they loved it. They were like, "Oh yeah, that's my aunt right there that she's talking about," or
Yeah.
it's all over the place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 years ago, it was a different time in comedy. People were less sensitive, less woke, and we could get away with a lot more. Let's be honest. But
Well,
maybe it's better
plus
now. I don't want to get canceled now. It's good.
plus Angela Johnson is pretty ethnically ambiguous
Mhm.
too.
Yeah,
Like people would
yeah,
be like, "Is she? I don't know. I can't tell."
yeah. But if she was white, I think it would be harder to digest.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was the fact that she kinda grew up in the culture because, she grew up in San Jose, just like
Mhm.
growing up in Los Angeles. It's like, you know I mean, I am Asian and Hispanic, but people are exposed to both all over the place here just by virtue of living here, so
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
what are your favorite topics in stand-up?
Ooh, things that I grew up with in my immigrant household. So, just having like a tiger mom, being sexually repressed, just like all of the fun things,
The normal stuff.
the normal stuff. Yeah, I talk, but seriously though, I do talk a lot about my mom and my family and growing up, being queer. Like I talk about all the things that I wish I saw in a comedian growing up because there was only
Mm,
a certain genre of comedy that I was exposed to
right.
growing up. I barely saw female comedians. I
Mhm,
mostly saw white male comedians and black male comedians, and that was it. And so it was like when I first saw like Margaret Cho
mhm,
on a stage, I was blown away because I was like,
right.
oh my god, like she's a child of immigrants like me, like, and so that kind of like blew me away the first time. But she started talking about stuff in her family, and I was like, oh my god, I could relate so much to this, and that's why I started to get a little bit more honest in my writing and just talk
Mhm.
about what it's like to be like a child of immigrants and a queer kid and like what's it like to be a female and like there's so half of the world can relate to that. So
Yeah.
I have to trust in that.
So how was that coming out to your family?
Ooh, you know, being South Asian, like Indian parents don't expect you to be gay, and so like I remember, I remember asking my mom one time where I was like, "Mom, would you rather me be gay or addicted to drugs?" And she pauses and she goes, "What kind of drugs?" So, like, literally, like, it's not a thought that crosses your mind, you know? You can be a doctor, lawyer, but you can't be a flaming homosexual, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
But what was great is that my mom was super sweet and super gracious, and to be honest, I thought she was gonna kick me out of the house because we don't talk about love and intimacy and sex, and, like, we don't talk about that in an Indian household growing up, and so I think, when I came out, we were watching Scandal. You remember Scandal, right?
Yeah, the Kerry Washington.
Yeah, there you go.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So my mom and I watched that every single week together. And during one of the commercial breaks, she turned to me and she's like, "When are you getting married?" And I was like, I don't think it's like in the cards for me, mom." And she pauses and she goes, "Do you like girls?" Like, out of nowhere, she asked me that, and my jaw dropped, and I was like, my body was stunned because I was never planning on coming out to my mom. I was planning to come out to her when I was like 60 years old, and I was living with like my best friend, and we had little kid best friends, and everyone in the house was just best friends, and like I literally like never planned on coming out to her, and so I didn't say anything, and she goes, "It's okay if you do, like I will love you no matter what," and then I was just like crying for hours and hours, and just we were just hugging each other, and I was like, "Mom, like my brother was getting married the next month." And I was like, "Mom, I'm sorry I can't give you this big fat Indian wedding that my brother's getting." And she's like, "What are you talking about? I don't care if you marry a man or a woman or a dog or a cat, you still have to get married, you know?" And so she, but like that was such a liberating experience. First of all, she opened up some bestiality doors that I didn't think was possible. But I was
I
like,
didn't know that was on the table.
or a cat. Wow, this woman just really wants me to get married. Okay. But I was just like so
Hey,
shocked.
she got 2 dresses.
Yeah, there you go. And so I was just so shocked because a lot of South Asian parents, they struggle with having queer kids, you know, like we have this big stigma, and I'm sure this is in Latin and Asian cultures as well, as like in South Asian culture, like we care so much about what society thinks of your family, right? And so like it's like, oh, what are the neighbors gonna say, right? And that literally keeps people in terrible marriages, that keeps queer kids from coming out, that keeps like people who are like hurting other people in the family, that keeps them quiet, you know, like. And so like there's so much shame that is self-inflicted because people are like, what are the neighbors gonna say? And so the moment she was like, screw it, like you be happy, I want you to be happy, I was like, oh my God, you were fighting so many years of just like this systemic like oppression that we've had as a people to just
So
love,
evolved.
you know. Yeah.
Your mom's just going for nirvana in this lifetime. She's like, "I'm done. I want out."
She really is. She really is, right? Because the more hate that you keep in your heart, like you're not learning any lessons. And when you're not learning lessons, you're just in this cycle of reincarnation. You're not achieving nirvana. Well done.
So I know you've been spending a lot of time thinking about religion. You just had a big project that you're wrapping up. Tell me about it.
Oh yeah. So me and two of my girlfriends, we have this podcast called the Modern Yogi Podcast. Where
Is
we
it already live or is it not yet
it's
launched?
live. It's on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can find podcasts. Just type in the Modern Yogi Podcast. But if you are into like Eastern philosophy, so we do the podcast on a book called the Bhagavad Gita, which is kind of like the Bible of Hinduism. So
The holy text.
yeah, the holy text of Hinduism, and also Buddhism as well. But it was like we went through like 800 verses, and we did a podcast on all of them,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
tried to make it funny. Like we tried to make the word of God hilarious, you
Oh
know?
my gosh, I cannot wait to listen to this.
Yeah, so like we literally went through 800 verses, and it took multiple years, 137 episodes, but we went through all the verses and we tried to make them relatable and digestible for modern times and funny. And I think it was important for me because like Hinduism and Eastern philosophy has shaped so much of who I am. And then to like explain it to other people, but make it like really like just make it entertaining, you know, edutain me, I guess is the word, but like just trying to make it like making sacred texts hilarious, I think was like one of the funnest projects I've ever been on.
Oh
So
my god, I'm so curious. So curious. I can't wait to check it out.
yeah.
So, soy saucy, I'm excited to have you up. So you talk about your family, you talk about your sexual identity. What else are you
Ooh,
talking
I'm
about?
talking about being first eliminated on The Amazing Race, which is such a hoot.
Being the biggest
There
loser
you
on The
go,
Amazing
right?
Race?
That I'm talking about my relationship. I recently got engaged, and so just
Oh, what kind of wedding are you gonna have?
we're doing a destination wedding. Who knows
Mhm.
where? I mean, we've been engaged for 6 years now. So like
Oh my
we
gosh.
will, so but I say it like we recently got
Is
engaged
your
because people get excited about it. But like we're just too lazy to plan a wedding. So But
Oh
now
my
we're in the planning stages. So it's going to be a 2027 wedding. So now we have to, my Vedic astrologer gave, yeah,
only
only
2
2 more
more
years.
years.
This is going to sound so LA, but like I was waiting on a date from my astrologer so that like we do it during like the auspicious time with planets aligned. Yes,
Yes.
you get it. Of course. You get it. And
Yes.
so I was waiting for a date from my astrologer. He only got back to me last week. So now we have a date, which is great. And I haven't told my mom yet, so I'm not going to tell you just yet. But but,
Okay.
but I have to tell my mom first. I hope she's watching this live. Actually, mom, if you're watching. Okay, thank you for watching. She's probably like, well, how come she's on the live and not able to call me? You know, like, yeah. Anyway, so I had to wait until all the planets aligned, but now we have a date, and so I do talk about my partner a lot. I talk about my family.
Wait, I wanna hear
Oh
more about the wedding.
yeah,
So
yeah.
2 years. Yeah, I mean, it's been a long I've been married for multiple decades,
Congratulations!
so I need the
Congratulations!
what? Oh, yeah. You know what you learn when you've been married for
Mm,
as long as I have, which let's see, so I've been married
yeah,
22 years. You learn that forever is a really
mm,
long time
yeah,
because we were together for 5 years before we got married, right? So I was like, "Oh, we were together for a while," you know? But when you say those forever vows, forever just does not sound that long. And now that we've been married 22 years, I'm like, "You mean I'm only like a third of the way through this forever thing?" Like,
yeah.
wow, this is a
Forever
long
means
time.
forever, girl. It's
Forever. I take it seriously because, you know, it's not about
mhm,
romance, right? Like what makes a marriage last is being committed to
mm,
figuring it out in all of its forms as it
yeah,
goes up and down. And there's definitely something special about having someone who's in your corner no matter what for that long a time, who knows
yeah,
you inside and out, right?
beautiful. Well, so what's your
Um,
secret then?
but
Shinagona, can you tell the people what is the
my
secret to multiple decades with the same person?
the secret is be you no
Mhm,
matter what, and you each have to figure out how to accommodate whatever that new
mm,
version is of that
yeah,
person
because
that
that
you
new
love.
version is gonna change, like, it's gonna change.
Yes.
Mhm,
Yep, it changes. But I think the most important thing is, 1, don't get married until you wake up one day and you realize, "We're already married. We just
ooh,
haven't
that's
had the
good. That's
party."
really good. Don't do what the lesbians do and just, like, get married after 2 weeks of knowing each other, yeah.
Well, you
No,
haven't
I
done
moved
that.
in pretty early
So
with my partner. We moved in after maybe like 4 months of knowing each other.
okay. So then this engagement has been
Yeah,
the relationship
correct. You
before,
got it, you got
really.
it. But I
So
feel like we're all married, so
so
you're
now
right, yeah.
exactly, that's when
Mhm.
you set the date probably, right?
Yeah,
Was you're like, "Oh, it's
yeah.
like we're already
I
married."
came to a point where I was like, "Okay, I'm not as scared of this anymore. Let's do it." And she's like, "Ooh, that
Yes.
sounds
Yes.
very unromantic, but okay, cool, let's go."
Yeah, that's the key. No, the exciting thing for you, and if you're like me, you'll
Mhm,
experience this because we'd been together so long that I actually was getting tired of being engaged. I was like, "Okay, come on, I'm just ready to be married." Like, we've been waiting for so long, and that was
oh, I
really fun
love
and
that.
exciting to want
It sounds
to
like
get
you don't
married.
have commitment issues, which is great for you. Like, that's very sweet.
I mean, I didn't have commitment issues with
Okay.
this person, but literally, I'd never been in a long-term relationship before him. I had I was yeah, people didn't think I was gonna
Oh,
get married.
interesting. But now multiple
So
decades later, you're like, it's a success story, you know? I love it.
it's a s yeah, so okay, so tell
Mm.
me, wedding, 2 years, like, what's the
Okay, so my
vision?
partner is Vietnamese. So this I googled, right? So Vietnamese wedding dress. A Vietnamese wedding dress comes with a little hat. Okay, the women wear a little hat. And I told my partner, I
Mhm.
was like, I will not get married to you unless you wear a little hat. It's the cutest little hat in the world. It looks like a little Vietnamese turban. It's like, like in Mario,
Oh
you
my
have to
gosh, I
look
have
it
to
up,
look it
okay?
up.
And like, do you know that character from Mario Kart called Toad? Yeah, so it looked like
Yes.
it's such a cute hat, and I've never seen a Vietnamese wedding dress before. So type in Vietnamese wedding dress with hat.
Oh, so it kind of sits back
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? On the
Isn't it the
head.
cutest thing you've ever seen?
You know what? It almost kind of reminds me of, like, back in, like, the
Uh-huh.
Henry VIII days when they had the I don't know what it was called. Was it called a
Just
wimple? I
just
don't
make it
know.
up, I'll
I'm
believe
just
it, yeah.
pulling that word out of wimples. That's what it's called. Yeah. No, I've never
That's
seen
so
this
cool.
before. It looks
Yeah,
very
and so I
modern,
was like, "If I don't
actually.
see you wear that tiny hat down the aisle, I'm gonna say no." It's just
Okay, and so I'm hoping she came back to you with,
yeah.
"Okay, well, I Googled Indian wedding, and you
Yeah, and
must."
she loves. You know what's great? I think she was Indian in a past life because she loves everything about Indian culture. Like she wants to do the whole thing with the henna and the turmeric and the walking around the fire a bunch of times and like oh she loves Bollywood music. Like she loves dancing to Bollywood music, and so she's I think a little bit more Indian than I am. So it kind of worked out actually. So we're gonna do a fusion, a Vietnamese Indian giant wedding.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. I once saw maybe you saw this too, somewhere on social media. It was I wanna say it was like a Scottish
Oh,
Persian
fun.
wedding. Yes, and they had the music from both, like, they had full
Oh
on
wow.
bagpipes and yeah, it was fascinating. So,
Oh,
yeah, I love it. I can't wait. It's gonna be amazing, amazing
yeah.
pictures. Oh, okay, well, I will put all the links to you below in the show notes, so when people watch this, they can also see you live September 7th at the Crow in Santa Monica. Get tickets at soysaucy.com. For anyone listening to the podcast, that's SOYSAUCEY.com. There is an E in there. Soy Saucy. I always want to say it with a
Soy
New York accent for
saucy.
some reason. Soy Saucy. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not New York. There's no New York
Soysaucy.com.
relation.
Get your
Yeah,
tickets.
Soy Saucy.
I love it. You're good at it.
Get your tickets. Yeah. Soysaucy.com. Thank you so much for joining me, Asta. And I can't wait to hear about the wedding details.
Amazing. Did you want to come? You're
And
invited. Yeah, I don't care if Nina said no. You're
oh,
invited on my end. So let's be great.
absolutely.
Love
Sounds
it. Thank you so much
fantastic.
for having me, Tuna Goda. See you
Thank
September 7th.
you. Bye.
Bye.